Hey guys, Justin here with Rampengu Nation, and I've had a lot of video requests about doing the Buster Lock combo tutorial, and I thought I'll make it more into a combo series, because there's like 5 different videos that I want to go through of what the deck can do, and the different avenues you can take with the deck. So, the Dragoon card, Dragoon Remix came out sometime mid-April, and that's where I kind of created like this version of the deck essentially, where you can Buster Lock using the Remus cards because Lance is powerful again with Phalanx. So a lot of the lists I saw online, like when they originally were doing it, everybody was focusing on using Glow and Atum, but that's unnecessary. The reason why OCG uses Glow and Atum is because they don't have LP, but with us having LP and OCG and TCG, we don't need that. So we can mitigate like 3 extra deck cards because you don't really need Gae Dearg, Atum, or any other piece like that, or Crystal Wing essentially, because you can Buster Lock with like all those cards. So for this one, I'll show you like the very first like basic combo with just Remus when I used to play Gae Dearg. If you don't know about the deck and you want to learn about the deck profile, check out the other video. It's like a 40-minute deck profile I did. Alyse got top 4 at the remote duel invitational qualifier with the deck. So then I did a deck profile with her, and I went through like all the choices with her and explained why we played each card. But I'll show you guys how you can actually play the deck and why it's good. Note this deck is a little bit different from the regular Dragon Link deck with Tiding. It takes completely different avenues, and it uses Saryuja a lot in this version, which makes it a lot better in my opinion. It lets you draw into your side deck more, and the only card that like hurts you is Droll and Lockbird. But the cool thing about this deck is that you can Buster Lock through Droll and Lockbird, which I'm going to show you like in a video later on. So let's get into the combo. So for this one was the original like inspirational combo that I did, where if you just have like Remus and any 2 discards, this is what you would end on, right? So first you would start by using Remus's effect to add Ravine. Then you'd use Ravine's effect to pitch Gamma to search for Legatus. So because you control Dragon Ravine, you can special summon Legatus from your hand. Because you control a Dragoon monster, you can revive Remus from your grave. Now, Remus's restriction to lock you into dragons from the extra deck only happens when he uses his effect to revive him from the grave. So the first effect to ditch Dragon Ravine, you can make whatever still from your extra deck, which is nice. Using that effect also still opens your opponent up to getting Gamut if they want to droll you there, because you would still have no monsters on the field. So the second point now, we still have a user normal summon. So we specialed Legatus from our hand because we had Ravine, and then we specialed Remus. So you have 2 options here. Here, if we were going into Romulus, you would just make Striker Dragon first with the Remus, and then you would turn those 2 into Romulus unless you're specifically playing around Droll, but that depends on the rest of the cards in your hand. This combo, I'm just going to show you basically what you do with Gae Dearg. So you turn those 2 into Gae Dearg, and then Gae Dearg's effect is going to add to hand your Zephyros. You're going to then discard Zephyros from your hand to the grave, and then bounce Ravine to special summon back Zephyros. The main issue of why I cut Gae Dearg from the deck was because it just didn't help with the issue of Droll. It was another extra deck card you had to play, and it didn't really do much to play around Droll. And to do the combo without Gae Dearg, all it requires is that you just open any normal summonable dragon in your hand, or any other dragon you can put onto the field with that to be able to make LP Pisty live again. So now, but this is a base combo, just showing you what Remus alone by itself with 2 discards can do. So you're going to turn those 2 now into Romulus. Romulus's effect is going to trigger the search for lands. Then you're going to activate Divine Lance. Divine Lance is going to equip Phalanx from your deck. Special summon Phalanx. And then you're going to use Ravine to pitch Gamma to send Router to add Tracer. In this section, like, we haven't made our Striker Dragon yet because there was no instance to make it yet. So this was another reason why I disliked Gae Dearg, but anyway, so we make LP, then we make Striker Dragon. Striker Dragon's going to trigger, and then we're going to add to our hand our Boot Sector launch. Now, for the cool thing about this combo is that because we normal summon our Tracer, we don't have to like bump our Ravine to put Boot down. We can keep our Ravine up, and in this build, Ravine is so much better than the regular Tidying build because you can search for another Remus for the follow-up turn. Searching for Remus is also nice because it's just a normal summonable dragon. It's a tuner, and you can do so much more with it. So continue, or you can just like send Seyfried or Levy, just depending on the board. But yeah, so continuing on, we use LP, and this is where we summon DMZ Dragon. So this is how we are going to Buster Lock into the deck. Some of you guys might already know what DMZ does, but I'll go through for those who don't. It says once per turn you can target one low 4 lower dragon monster in your graveyard and one dragon monster you control. Equip that monster in your graveyard to the monster as an equipped spell that makes it gain 500 attack. So it basically has a Union Carrier like effect, but it only equips the buster from the grave. The second effect just says if it like the equipped dude with like smack, you can banish it from the grave and destroy as many equipped as possible, and then it can attack again. So it's kind of like a Boral Sword-esque effect, but that one doesn't really come up. Sometimes it does if you can't make like Boral Sword, but it's almost never. So anyway, so we have our DMZ here. So we're going to use our DMZ effect actually to equip our Phalanx and unequip our Phalanx. I just put it on the field, but it would equip to any of these guys. Then you would unequip it because when Phalanx is equipped, you can unequip it. So now you're going to turn Romulus and LP into Protector Whelp, and then you're going to use Protector Whelp's effect to send our Destruction Sword. By the way, I don't know why Konami brought this card back, but it's okay, I guess. So now we're going to use our Pisty. Pisty's going to revive our Tracer, and then we're going to use our Tracer to pop our Phalanx, and then we're going to use those two to make our Savage. So from here now we have our Striker Dragon, Seal, and Savage. We're going to use our Savage effect to equip our Romulus to give us 2 negates. Then we're going to use Striker's effect to pop itself, so I back Recharger. Recharger's effect is going to discard itself. It's a specials back DMZ Dragon, then DMZ is going to equip our Buster Sword Destruction. So, okay, everybody knows like the basic DMZ combo of like, okay, if you can make LP Pisty with your guy, then you can DMZ equip and do this stuff. But what made this deck actually good again was the fact that we got Remus, and Remus allows us to do this, to do all these things. I personally think that Remus is one of the best dragon cards printed for the deck, but the Tidying build doesn't play it because it's kind of unnecessary. But the difference between this deck and the Tidying deck is that the Tidying deck tends to play the Droll a lot more. With the Remus deck, you can still Buster Lock through Droll, and it doesn't rely on having to use Tidying as its initial setup. So let's go to the second combo. So this one is just going to have 3 discards essentially, a Dragon, and Remus. And this one I'm going to not use Gae Dearg and show you what you can net possibly. So we're going to use our Remus. Remus is going to add our Ravine, and then Ravine is going to pitch our Gamma. Gamma is going to add our Legatus. We're going to special Legatus, normal our Rocket Synchron, and then we're going to use Striker Dragon. Striker Dragon's effect is going to add to our hand our Boot Sector, and then turn those 2 into Romulus. Romulus is going to search for our Lance, and then Lance's effect is going to be used to equip our Phalanx. Then we're going to special Phalanx, and then we can special Romulus. Note, just remember, if you have like some extra Dragon Extender you need to search for Venus some instance, Romulus is a Dragonity monster, so you can special summon Remus if you control Romulus, which is insane because then it makes Remus an extender dragon and not just reliable on just using Romulus to search for Tracer to pop the field spell to then get the 2 dragons that way, which is very important in like weird niche situations. So as you can see, we're going to have our LP set up here, but now we're just going to go straight into Pisty. No need to make Striker Dragon. So, because nobody plays Ogre, so there's like no point. So we're going to use our LP, special DMZ Dragon. DMZ is going to equip our Phalanx, special summon our Phalanx. And then now we have basically 2 dragons here, DMZ, Pisty, and Phalanx. So now what we're going to do is turn those 2 into our Destruction Whelp, and then use Whelp's effect now to send our Destruction Sword. So now Pisty's going to revive DMZ. So this is where you can kind of freestyle the combo, right? So if we look at our hand, the thing that we know is that we don't have access to Tracer. So we're missing Tracer because we had to use our LP as special summon our DMZ Dragon. So one way we can fish for Tracer, even though we use Remus as effect and we're locked with the dragons from the extract for the rest of the turn, is that we can just make Saryuja with everything except the DMZ Dragon. So then Saryuja's effect is going to trigger, we're going to draw 4. Doesn't matter like the 4, but usually you'd get away to Tracer within these cards because you would have filtered out at least like 10 to 12 cards in your deck at this point, and then you're drawing 4 fresh cards essentially. So now, as you can see, I did a quick launch. I joined the Ravine. That would also work because I could Ravine, pitch, send, search for the Tracer. I could have drawn Abzorouter because I could special the Abzorouter from my hand with Saryuja, use Saryuja and the Abzorouter to make Seal and then search for the Tracer that way. There's just a lot of possibility. So anyway, I'm just going to keep the 2 best cards in the Ravine in my hand, just showing you that it's not, you can put back the Boot Sector too, which is nice. So then also now, like, you can put back the Boot, and then the next turn just search for the Boot because we're going to keep our Ravine on the field here. So we're going to use our DMZ here to equip and unequip our Buster Destruction Sword. Note that's something you can do. You can special buy Phalanx too if you want. But if you equip this guy, you can once per turn unequip it and special it, which is also niche. Because this comes up to, if you, let's say if a Chaotic Rule and a DMZ you didn't use, you can go, okay cool, DMZ special Destruction Sword, use Tracer and DMZ to make Chaotic Rule, and then Destruction Sword and Chaotic Rule to make Hard Red. So that comes up too sometimes. But we're going to make Seal with those two guys. And then here we're just going to use our Quick Launch to summon our Tracer. Then use the Tracer effect to pop our Ravine because we have another Ravine. And we still need at least to leave over one other Dragon to access our DMZ effect again. So now we're going to use our Savage. Savage is going to equip Soryuja to give ourselves 4 negates. Then we're going to use Striker. Striker pop itself to add back our Recharger. Then Recharger effect to special out our DMZ. Then use DMZ to equip to our Savage. And then we have Buster Lock here essentially. So this looks very like rudimentary and like, oh, it plays in the hand traps. Well, my next combo video series, I'm going to show you guys why that's not just the case, because we also play Apollousa and Needle Fiber in the extra deck, and I'll show you where where Apollousa comes up a lot and why it makes the combo very resilient to hand traps, especially cards like Phantasme and Nib and other stuff like that. So hopefully you guys like this video. Be sure to leave a comment, subscribe, like, and stay tuned for the next video. This is Justin with Rampengu Nation, and see you guys.